Welcome back to Perptex Daily. I'm Aaron. In today's episode, we have a lot to talk about. The fundamentals for Hyperliquid and Lighter are continuing to get better. There's a lot of action going on in the Solana Robinhood meme coin ecosystem, and let's hop straight into it as always. First, let's take a look at the price of Hype as we do. Hype is sitting around $61, still kind of just treading in this range. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about some things that are happening that are very bullish for Hyperliquid fundamentals. But in the short term, there could be some bearish price action due to potentially some big sellers coming up. Possibly. As always, it's, always speculation on whether certain people will sell or not, blah, blah, blah. You guys already know the drill and how that works, but we're going to cover it. Lighter's looking really good today, up about went up, I think, almost 10% today at the top of this wick right here. And it's up 6.8, almost 7% right now, after having pretty much a week straight of just red candles. So I was talking about on Twitter how this is probably, could be, as always, could be a good entry for Lighter here. I think Lighter's fundamentals continue to get better and better. And Bitcoin is actually rallying, which is super interesting, up 2%. I personally am in the camp, once again, I feel like I don't need to say this every single time and talk about price action, but I kind of have to. I don't know where the price is going in the short term or even the long term. But I will say I would be shocked to see if this bear market for crypto only lasted less than a year. I mean, it started on October 7th and we're in July 2026. I personally think it's very possible we keep going up to 70 and then we dump back down to 45K or 50K or something like that. I think it's very real that we see a dump later this year. There's a lot of people on Twitter who are saying, oh, we bottomed. For 3 cycles straight, it has operated the same way. And I'm in the camp that's like, until the 4-year cycle is invalidated, I'm not going to believe that this rally is real in terms of like, oh, the bull market's really back. So it could be, but that's just my thesis. Want to give you my personal opinion. And to our first macro news story of the day. Rush is passing a bill establishing legal framework for crypto. So, in Washington, D.C. right now, obviously they're going to be voting on the Clarity Act soon, which is supposed to be for crypto. And there is a actual solid chance it doesn't pass, basically due to just political theater. It's not due to the fact of any rational, unemotional analysis of the technology. It's just due to literally pure just political theater garbage. Which is, something that happens. That's part of the game of politics. So it's going to be interesting to see if it passes. Pretty much every single country's got some legal framework or they're passing something, and the U.S. is still kind of just monkeying around. But we'll see if it happens. I hope it goes through. But if it doesn't, we probably will see a big discount on the coins. Just going to be pretty truthful with that. Let's take a look at some Hyperliquid stats. As we talked about yesterday, this is a very important stat to look at, but Hyperliquid's open interest versus the entire SEX market is continuing to go up and to the right. And you're starting to see now really that transition from centralized exchanges to decentralized exchanges, okay? The TVL of Hyperliquid is also continuing to go up and up and up. Let's take a look at this right here, versus Robinhood. Pretty close in terms of what's going on here. But what's sneakily funny about Robinhood is they work with, of course, Lighter, but they cannot offer Lighter on their main platform, their main app yet, because of the legal situation right now in the USA. And I talked about this on Twitter, and I do think it will happen in a long enough time frame. I think perps are going to dominate and basically replace options. Typically, if you are a stock trader or someone and you're on Robinhood and you kind of want to get some massive returns, you would do options. But right now, literally, Robinhood cannot have perps available on their platform. It's literally not legal. But it will be. And Robinhood's partnered with Lighter to do that. I personally believe once Robinhood has perps on their main mobile app, not like some side mobile app that's only for like users that are outside of the US or whatever, blah, 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 blah. On their main mobile app for US users, once all the clarity comes and all the regulation comes, I believe people are going to flock to options. No, not flock to options. I believe they're going to flock to perps over options. And it's simply because perps are so much easier to understand than options. With options, you have to understand like 5 different things. With perps, it's very, very simple to understand. And at the end of the day, when it comes to users, especially the type of people who trade on Robinhood, they're not going to want to learn more bullshit. So why wouldn't they just use perps instead of options? And they've been using options for years because, well, that was the only available financial contract they could go to. In the future, they're going to have perps, and I think perps are going to dominate options. I think options are going to be looked back on in 50 years as something that was old timer and ha ha ha, remember the strike price? I don't think people are going to be using options in the future. I think everything's going to get slowly driven to perps. That's my, at least when it comes, 100% when it comes to the retail crowd. I think that's 100% going to happen. And even with the whales, I don't even see why they would want to use options over perps. But kind of my thesis I talked about on Twitter. But anyways, this is some news. Shout out Lewis from the Hyperliquid community. He's always making amazing Hyperliquid content. If you're into Hyperliquid, you should definitely be following this guy on Twitter. But Dreamcash sunset from HIP3. They're now unstaking 500K hype, about $30 million. Okay? The unstake is being done by Selloff Capital. The status right now reads pending withdrawal. That means the hype is already on its way out of the staking system toward a spot trading account, just waiting on the timer to run out. And on Hyperliquid, unstaking carries a 7-day cooldown before the funds actually unlock and can be moved or sold. So here's a real question. Once the 500K hype fully unlocks in 7 days, what happens next? Do they sell $30 million worth of hype on the market? Or do they OTC? Or do they redeploy it? So pretty much what's happened is $30 million worth of hype has just been unstaked. And there is speculation, as Lewis is saying here, that they could just dump 30 million on the market. If they do that, it is going to cause a big fat red candle. So just be ready for that if that does happen. It's possible maybe they just do something else with it. They could sell it OTC, something like that. There's a lot of exit routes for them. But I personally don't really give a shit in terms of the long-term thesis. Like, I know everyone just loves short-term price action. Everyone wants number goes up as quick as possible, but this Dreamcash, whatever, selling $30 million worth of hype doesn't invalidate the thesis and does not invalidate the fundamentals. It will just probably cause, if they do it, some bad short-term price action. So if you can stomach that, then you should probably be happy. I want to go over this stat again. I want to cover it again. I've covered in the last couple episodes, but Hyperliquid recently did cross over $300 million worth of buybacks. Lighter, almost at $25 million. For Hyperliquid, it's about 3.5% of the total circulating supply. Lighter, about 6.5% of the total circulating supply. Some news for Lighter. Let's move on to Lighter now. Lighter, not too much news to talk about, except their CEO, the CEO of Lighter, Vladimir, recently went on another podcast. Take a look at this. It says here on the Lighter, catch our origin story and insights into DeFi, TradFi, and AI in their interview with our founder, Vlad, on 1000X podcast. Okay. Here it is right here. You can see they talked about a lot of different things. And I highly do recommend you listen to one of these podcasts because Vladimir is just giving straight game on there. Very, very good education if you do care about your lighter bags, stuff like that. If you're not really super into crypto, maybe you won't find it interesting, but if you are, maybe you will. Yeah, and I'm super excited for what's to come for the Lighter team. Okay. And that's really all we got for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to join the Discord. Subscribe, comment, leave a like. We're covering Monday through Friday, the perp deck scene, meme coins, all that stuff. Oh, also, I wanted to talk about Meteora. Forgot. So I think I talked about it yesterday, but Meteora is dumping pretty hard today. 7%. Pumps having a little correction. So, bit of a correction in the Solana ecosystem. But, once again, we're going to wrap it up here. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Join the Discord. Thank you for watching.